Hey, Busy Bees. Today we are back with another chapter in our My Weird School series, Book 7, Mrs. Cooney is Loony by Dan Gutman. But before we get into our chapter today of the day, we are going to get into our riddle of the day. And the riddle of the day is, a girl fell off a 20-foot ladder. She wasn't hurt. Why? And I'll say it again. A girl fell off a 20-foot ladder. She wasn't hurt. Why? And I'll give you the answer to our riddle at the end of our chapter. So let's pop open the book and fly through this adventure together. So last week we left off on chapter 9, where AJ was actually feeling ill. He did not want to go to Mrs. Cooney's office because he was afraid that she was trying to take information from him. So let's get into the next chapter. Chapter 10. I thought she was gonna die. Now, are you convinced, AJ? Andrea asked, taking a big bite of her apple. Me and Ryan and Michael were sitting around the vomitorium talking about Mrs. Cooney. It was so important that we even let Andrea and Emily sit at our table. All the evidence seemed to show that Mrs. Cooney was a spy. Still, I wasn't sure. My mom says people are innocent until they are proven guilty, I said. Mrs. Cooney is guilty, AJ, Andrea said, getting up and waving her arms around. What do you need to do? Catch her? But Andrea couldn't finish that sentence because at that very moment, the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. Andrea started choking. What's the matter? Emily asked. Andrea couldn't talk. She was gagging. She got something caught in her throat, Ryan said. We all looked at the half-eaten apple in Andrea's hand. She was gasping, trying to breathe. I looked at Ryan. Ryan looked at Michael. Michael looked at Emily. Andrea dropped the apple. Oh my God. We've got to do something, shouted Emily, as she went running out of the vomitorium. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. Suddenly, I remembered that poster I saw on the wall of Mrs. Cooney's office, the one with the cartoon of a kid choking. Quick, I said. Somebody punch Andrea in the stomach. Are you crazy? Michael said. We'll get in trouble. If you punch her in the stomach, the apple will come out, I shouted. I had to stay after school the time I shot spitballs at her, Ryan said. I'm not punching her in the stomach. It was your idea, AJ, said Michael. You punch her in the stomach. I always wanted to punch Andrea. Come to think of it, I grabbed her from behind like the guy did in the poster. Then I ran both of my fists against her stomach. The chunk of apple shot out of Andrea's mouth and bounced off Ryan's head. Andrea started to breathe again. AJ, you saved my life, she said. Then she gave me a hug. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ and Andrea are in love. Emily came running into the vomitorium with Mrs. Cooney, who was carrying her first aid kit. What happened? Shouted Mrs. Cooney. Are you okay, Andrea? I am now, Andrea said. I had a piece of apple caught in my throat, but AJ knew what to do. He probably saved my life. Wow, said Mrs. Cooney. You're a real hero, AJ. It was really nothing, I said. Then Mrs. Cooney gave me a hug. Ooh, Ryan said. AJ and Mrs. Cooney are in love. Shut up, Ryan, I told Ryan. And that is the end of our chapter for today. Oh my gosh, so do we really think that she's a spy now? He actually used what she had on her wall to be able to hopefully save Andrea's life. Or maybe something else would have happened, but thank goodness he was there for her rescue, right? All right, so let's get into our answer to the riddle of the day. So the riddle of the day was, a girl fell off a 20-foot ladder. She wasn't hurt. Why? And the answer is, drum roll please, she was at the bottom step. Do you get it? She was at the bottom step. So it didn't say what step she was or where she was at on the ladder. So that's why she did not get hurt. If you like this video, give it a like. And if you'd like to follow along for more adventures, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you on the next one.